I'll have to be careful. So I'm going to do it from memory. So don't stop. Okay, so this is a comrade's vow that I wrote for comrades runners, but also for myself. Okay, so let me have a go. I'll see if I can do this. Okay. Listen. Listen. There's a distant sound of thunder. And a great black and gold mist is rolling down the road from Pietermaritzburg all the way to the Indian Ocean. They're calling me, and I will strive, and I will seek, and I will find. I will find that person I've been looking for all my life, that person I deeply admire and greatly respect, and that person will be myself, and I will not yield. And I will answer that call.
Since 1921, over 300,000 runners have answered. Taking on the unique challenge that is the Comrades Marathon. In the uncompromising world of ultra-distance running, it is a race with no equal. Step by step, trudging up fabled hills and rumbling down memory lane. This annual test of courage and character has steeped itself in tradition, bringing out the very best in humanity.
They were all in there, looking for gold, looking for first place, and perhaps a needle.
It's the single greatest migration of collective hope in the world of sport. Along an unforgiving 90-kilometer stretch connecting Pietermaritzburg and Durban, legends have risen.
Every one of these athletes is prepared for this moment.
On these hills, immortal men and women who have come from these valleys and from right across the world have carved their souls into history. Each runner carrying on the proud legacy of Clapham, Rowan, Newton, Van der Merwe, Shabalala, and that of every fellow comrade chasing their personal triumph. This is the greatest ultramarathon in the world. On one special day, each year, thousands gather before the sun rises. They run for the fallen. They run for the comrades they find on the road. They run for their lives as millions watch on in wonder.
So Camille, you could have been at 3 different other races around the world this weekend. Why did you decide to wake up in Hilton?
Yeah, it's Comrades. It's the ultimate human race. So, yeah, I mean, this is number one. This is the best ultra in the world. I feel like I have the will to win this time, and I want to do it again. Got my coffee, and you are good.
Any goals for today?
The goal is always to win. I wouldn't be here if I didn't think I could win. Everybody hates running, you know, running's like your punishment, you know, for other sports, and I loved it from the first run. There's nothing in there. I was just driven, super driven.
At the beginning, you know, you feel that atmosphere, you know, in the morning.
History.
You get that mood. You get that mood and get into the race.
Comrades stands alone and above your just everyday marathon. It's an experience which does not exist anywhere else. It's just the ultimate, it's the historic test, it's a challenge that has to be faced down, particularly if you want to call yourself one of the best.
We all standing here, you are going to run 90 kilometers, whether you came here in a Maserati or whether you slept at the start. We are all going to go through this journey and we are all equal on this day.
There is no start line like the Comrades. And you're just in a sea of people in the dark.
You could just feel the energy.
That had 10 and 15 and 20,000 people in it, whereas other ultra marathons around the world had 10 and 20 and 40 people in them. I mean, the magnitude of difference was astonishing.
Why is Comrades so great? Comrades is the measure. It's the benchmark. It's the yardstick of how you measured as a runner.
It feels like the world is coming together to run this amazing race.
Today marks the first running of the Comrades since its centenary year. Its route will take runners from Pietermaritzburg to Durban, just as the original race did in 1921. It won't be the only tradition celebrated today.
The traditions of Comrades are absolutely critical. The day we lose them is the day we lose Comrades. It happened spontaneously. The black runners, they started to sing Shosholoza.
You stand there and you go, Shosholoza, Shosholoza.
Yeah, it's a very emotional start, and I defy anyone not to get goosebumps during the Chariots of Fire and a tear in the eye when you realize, here we go.
To this day, whenever I hear that music, it still gives me goosebumps.
And when you hear that Max Strimborn's cockerel crow, you realize, here we go. There's a great book, and emblazoned on the cover of that book in black and gold letters are the words Comrades Marathon. And that book falls open on a blank page, and that blank page stares at me. It stares at me. Dare I write my name on that page? Dare I write my name in that history? Yes, I dare.
She likes to have the water for her gels, and then she sips on the sports drink. Gives a bit of flavor in her taste. So this is the testing to make sure it tastes good for her.
I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him.
Well, that's good.
He taught me how to live and train like an elite athlete. Between him like being regimented and me being the free spirit is what makes me what I am.
I'm always pretty good at this stuff.
Most ultramarathons run the same direction every year, but not the Comrades. One year, it's up from Durban to Pietermaritzburg, and the next year, like today, it's down, heading towards the sea.
75 seconds behind.
Camille Herron won the 2017 women's race. She's the only athlete to be a world record holder in 50, 100, and 200-mile ultramarathons.
Fourth woman, I think. Looking good though. Long way to go.
Growing up in Oklahoma, it's known as Tornado Alley. The tornado sirens would go. It was like an atomic bomb had hit where we lived. And I mean, it was shocking. It was shocking, you know, thinking that everything that you have is gone, you know, all your possessions are gone. Under my bed, one of the things that survived the tornado was the book, War of Running. And so the thing I remember reading about is Comrades. What are the odds that this little American girl, her first race that she knows about is Comrades? And I remember thinking, like, how do they do that? Like, they're running all day. Like, do they, like, stop and have some sandwiches?
The Comrades is the world's largest ultramarathon. It is also the oldest. In 1921, 34 athletes set out on the first trek of discovery. Today, 13,000 runners are continuing this great tradition.
In my opinion, I've only got 2 medals in my entire career that are worthwhile, and those were Boston and Comrades. They are the only 2 medals that have meaning to me in my running career, and they're the only 2 that are hanging in our house.
Everybody kind of takes a pause on the day to track it a bit because everyone knows someone that's doing it.
Just being part of that and adding to it is really what makes it so great.
I mean, there's nothing else going on in South Africa on Comrades Day except for Comrades. So in 1993, we're running downhill. I'm running slow and comfortable, no pain, enjoying every bit of the experience. And we get to what's the first hill on the down course after, I don't remember, 10 miles or so. And suddenly I'm in the field of 10,000 people. Every single runner in front of me stops to walk.
You start full of fear, full of worry, full of circumspection, and you start slowly and you keep all your energy in, and then you finish fast.
And I'm like, these South Africans, they're such patsies, they can't even run up a hill. So I'm zigzagging crazily around them and wasting tons of energy and going this way and left and right and bumping into the guy and pushing a little bit, very, very nasty running. And I got about halfway up the hill when finally my brain engaged and said, wait a minute. These blokes have all run Comrades 10 or 20 or 30 years. They actually know what they're doing. I don't have a clue what I'm doing, but I'm figuring out now I'm not doing something very smart by wasting energy on the hills. So I settled into a walk and realized that what you do at Comrades is walk the uphills and run the downhills.
The only way to run the Comrades Marathon is you start like a coward and you finish like a hero.
Well, I'm hoping for a sub 9. Let's see how it goes. If it's a good day in the office, I'll take a sub 10. And then, you know, today it's all about having fun. We love you guys.
Runners have 12 hours to complete 90 kilometers. For many, pacing their run is the difference between finishing and falling short. Their hopes are in the hands of a bus driver.
It's unique to Comrades. It was Comrades that started the bus drivers. And the singing, and they have to sing, and they have to clap hands, and I don't know, and the bus driver tells them when to walk and when to run.
Shahida drives a 12-hour bus. Her task is to bring her passengers home before the 5:30 p.m. cutoff.
I'm one of very few ladies who actually drives a bus. And it's such a passion. The hope that a normal person, because if you are an elite, you are extraordinary, but just a normal person get to the finish line, giving them that hope to say, I'm not as hopeless as people actually say I am, you know? That is for me. That is what bus driving is to me. I got into running by chance. It actually saved my life. I was borderline suicidal, and it was really, really, really dark. I was going through a whole lot. My husband passed away. And a week after that, I was diagnosed with a form of cancer. And I went through chemo. And just to cope, I just walked out of the gate and walked to the corner, and I just cried and cried and cried, and I walked back, and I felt a bit better. So the walks started to be more frequent. They became a bit longer, and I started jogging. And that's how it started.
I've been a bus driver, and it's exhausting. You have to be twice as fit as the time you're leading people through, because you've got to be able to stop and go and make those decisions.
There are slower runners at the back, but we make comrades. And one thing that I tell my passengers, I give them rules. I tell them, we're not going to look down on any runner. Picky, bite-sized chunk, one foot in front of the other. We are a union. We are working together as a well-oiled machine.
The 12 of us, that's the critical one. Up until then, you can still fall back.
I never look back when I drive a bus. If I have to look back and I see the size of the bus, I'm probably going to panic. I'm probably going to see the look on people's faces and the hope that I'm carrying. And if I see how many people are behind me, and now I'm thinking, what if I don't make it?
It's a great job of tremendous responsibility, because you cannot mess that up.
Shahida has been a bus driver for 3 Comrades Marathons. She has never failed her passengers.
How are you doing? We're just warming up, but just now could be a different story. Keep it up.
Persistence is a word hardwired into Comrades' origin.
Yeah, Comrades is the best possible name for a race. I just think it's absolutely best.
Vic Clapham, a South African who served in the First World War, was determined to honor his fallen comrades.
So the significance with the war is people don't know why. And why is it Comrades? Comrades of the First World War, the comrades who fought together.
His initiative to bring about a race that remembered those lives lost in combat was rejected. Some felt that the race would be too taxing. Others thought runners would drop dead from the strain. But Clapham felt differently. After all, he had first-hand experience of the extremes of the human spirit. In 1921, his persistence was rewarded. The race would run and alternate direction every year. For his expenses, Clapham was paid the princely sum of £1 British. Today, that persistence has created one of the world's greatest sporting spectacles.
Where's abantu abakhuluma ngayo ukuthi they have the passion ngayo nehistory yayo.
It occupies a unique space in South African hearts.
In South Africa, if you find out that someone runs, the next question is, have you run Comrades?
It kind of takes over the whole country.
It's become cliché to say it, But this is a race for all.
Comrades actually gives you a great opportunity of introspection. And you know, you kind of discover who you are, whether you like it or not.
I felt in my soul that this was a race that understood runners and what brings runners to the sport and what makes us want to challenge ourselves against these incredibly difficult distances.
What about information on the route here, Bruce?
On the way, you're going to see the really, really emotional part of the race when they run past the Ntembeni School for the disabled children. Many in wheelchairs, and you have to, as you run through, you have to high-five a few, and you've got to just absorb the energy of the cheering and screaming when you're there.
Nyaga ngonyaka lezi ngane zilindela ithemba elisha eliza nabasubathi.
Comrades is a huge supporter of us and we for them. It's tradition. We line up the children in front of the school and on the route, and the runners are running past here and giving them high fives. So they're getting inspiration from the runners as well to see that something can be achieved.
It takes somebody who's watched the race and probably thinks, I could never do that, and just thinks, but gee, well, maybe anybody can be a Comrades runner, anybody. And I think that's what's special about that race. You can do it.
Kaylee is a differently abled athlete. Today, she's taking on her 5th Comrades Marathon with the support of her pilot and co-pilot runners.
The road is for everybody, and I think running is the most accessible sport. Everybody is able. You just have to figure out your way of doing things. I think it's interesting that being disabled has led me down this path of activeness that I would never have had as an able-bodied person.
Hello.
Kaylee's definition of independence is inviting people into her life to do awesome things that she wants to do with her to the point where she can do it.
Cerebral palsy has confined Kaylee to a wheelchair, but that has not stopped her from finding joy wherever life takes her. That spirit has lifted Kaylee to the unlikeliest places.
And I think that speaks to perseverance, endurance, the need to keep advocating for inclusion partners. And I think she's had 18 running partners.
I want to be loud and super disabled and do rad things. And disability is not bad, it's just diversity of experience.
Runners leave the valley of Njanga just before the halfway mark. Here, crowds gather to celebrate the milestone and to catch a glimpse of the front runners. While halfway is an emotional waypoint, just ahead lies the Comrades' spiritual center. Over 100 years of running has given this marathon an unmatched set of customs.
Comrades is all about the camaraderie. So it's sure there's a race. There's these elite athletes and they're running for prize money and there's sponsorships involved in that. But I think the traditions that have been kept in place, the traditions that have been introduced, I think that's what draws people to the Comrades.
Just outside Drummond lies a site subject to one of Comrades' most enduring customs.
Arthur's seat.
Do you know the story of Arthur?
You can share it. I just know you want to touch it for good luck.
Legend has it that if you don't tip your hat or leave a flower there on the right-hand side of the wall for Arthur Newton, a former Comrades Marathon winner, then the rest of your race will be doomed.
In 2014, when I was, in my opinion, not having the smoothest race possible, I was like, okay, I've got to have all the good luck I can have. Like, right, where's my flower? I need to get a flower. And I don't know, I placed it. I think I more kind of threw it in the direction of Arthur's seat.
Arthur Newton was the founder member of Comrades, and he was such a pioneer, and he was really outside the square, outside the box. I mean, he challenged convention. He was quite unorthodox.
Arthur Newton is celebrated as a 5-time winner of the Comrades Marathon. But for this farmer from Harding, the Comrades began as a protest. After the First World War, Newton's farm was rezoned. Unable to till the land, he took his grievances on the road between Pietermaritzburg and Durban. Aside from activity as a cross-country runner at school in England, Newton had no experience of running, let alone an ultra-marathon. To everyone's surprise, including his own, Arthur Newton broke the tape to take home the 1922 winner's medal. Over the next 6 years, he would cement his name as one of the world's greatest ultra-marathon runners. But he would never win his case against the South African government. His fondness for tobacco gave us Arthur's seat, where he would stop to enjoy a pipe and the view during his training runs. In reverence, runners now ensure they have Arthur's blessing before they continue their journey. They leave a flower, doff a cap, or simply call out the Comrades' most cherished phrase. Good morning, Arthur.
Get us through, please. Get us to the finish. You got to do it, eh? Otherwise, you're not going to finish it. So it's a tradition, eh? So you got to go show your respects for Arthur, and he'll get you through it. In spirit, yeah.
You know you're being a part of something much bigger than you, much bigger than even any of the individual greatest runners who have run Comrades, and there have been so many.
We're doing our camera. That's me. Can you tell us your story, your Comrade story?
Yeah, this is number 5. Since 5 years my name is over here, so every year I stop here, tap it like I do by Sir Arthur.
Got a different colour number. What does that mean?
15, and it's incredible. I've got 6 left, well 5.5 because I'm halfway on this one to get double green. And Ed'll be doing his green the year before me, so we're going to do it together.
And then my number will come up here in green as well, next to Ded's.
A runner's number becomes their Comrades CV. The green number, introduced in 1972, is awarded after 10 or more completed Comrades Marathons.
Andrew Crawford going to fetch his green number.
It's like a group of senators or the trustees. They become the trustees of the race in the future.
This is no elite club. Rather, the color of your number is a way to connect with the Comrades on the same path as you.
We're going for green. Going for green. That smile says it all.
And I've always loved the fact that Comrades rewards its veteran return runners with special colored numbers for your persistence over many years and not just 1 year's performance.
Once the runner has earned it, the number is theirs forever. Iningi lazi iComrades njengendawo yawonke-wonke. Izintaba ezingakhethi ibala. Kodwa kwakungahlezi kunjalo.
Comrades was a microcosm of the country Women couldn't run, black people couldn't run. I mean, how insane is that?
For years, the Comrades was open only to white males. But that didn't stop black mavericks from taking part. Ubaba Vincent Rakhabele wazifaka ngenkani kumjaho ka-74 ezimisele ukutshengisa uhulumeni umsangano wemthetho yabo.
By law, he was not allowed to run the race. So in 1974, there he was running the race illegally. No policeman tried to arrest him or pull him off the course, and no race official stopped him either. And the official history of the Comrades Marathon says the 3 loudest cheers on the day went out to the winner, Rakhabele, and the last finisher.
Under persistent international pressure, the Comrades was eventually opened to all races in 1975. That year, Rakhabele took home a silver medal.
I was still very young when Rakhabele running. He did a lot for us, you know. He's one of our heroes that we mustn't forget his name.
But it was technology that truly transformed the race, from a colonial pastime to a multicultural triumph.
Without a doubt, the single biggest breakthrough for Comrades was television.
Dis 5 Januarie 1976.
Particularly live television, because it's very hard to draw yourself away from the television. Even when the race itself, the main race is over, the leaders are all in, it's still human drama beyond belief.
On Comrades Day, the country acted with generosity, with spirit, with soul, and compassion.
That lesson was being shown to everyone and show, look what we can do when we all strive together.
Despite this long overdue change, the Comrades were still tied to the ideology of its government. This brought it into conflict with a new generation of runner.
So the 81 Comrades for me is a bittersweet memory. I mean, it's sweet because I won it and it was my first win. It's bitter because I was the most unpopular winner, I think, in the history of the race. It was 20 years of nationalist government, and suddenly Comrades joins the celebrations with their tank parades and plane flyers and whatever. And this came at the 11th hour, and so a whole lot of runners agreed what we would do is run, but we would show our displeasure with this stance that Comrades has taken by making our own stance, wearing black armbands to protest. I got hit by tomatoes, did get hit by one egg, and booed all the way along the race. But if too many people throw tomatoes at me, eventually I'm going to say, okay, now I'm going to make you unhappy because I'm going to do everything in my power to win this race. And the way you win Comrades is you don't explode, you smolder gently for a long time. And that's what I did, and got through to the finish.
His win that year came in a new record time of 5:37.
Challenges for Fordyce's crown came from around the world. But one of his greatest rivals came from the unlikeliest of corners.
That was Hosea Charlie, an absolutely fantastic runner and a fantastic guy, the unluckiest runner.
Yeah, we were lucky. We were extraordinarily fortunate and privileged to be running with the backgrounds and circumstances we had. So you've got to compare like with like. You can't take someone living in a hostel in Tembisa, not able to visit his family who live a couple of 100 kilometres away. The guy's got to have a travel pass, a dorm pass, to go training in different suburbs. You know, his physical movements are restricted, and he lives on no money in unhealthy conditions.
Hosea Charlie waduma ngesport kwakujabula indlu emnyama yonke uma sibonakala emgaqweni.
Black man and white man in unison there is Hosea Charlie and Bruce Fordyce battle it out in the Comrades Marathon. It's a pity that we didn't see a bit more of that black and white in unison over in that country.
I'd regard him as one of the great standout ultra-marathoners, if not the ultra-marathoner of the 80s.
Fordyce knew on the day, on the road, they were equals. Because the margin, you know, it could go either way.
You know, I remember I also go to the road and say, go Hosea, go Hosea. You know, he was my mentor too, you know, because, you know, he was running very well, but he didn't win it. But for us, he made us very proud.
Jale would be a regular on the Comrades podium, but a precious win always eluded him.
I mean, he is one of two people to break 5.5 hours and not win Comrades.
He was a hero. He won it for us, you know. Although he didn't come first, but for us, he made us to say that I can run Comrades.
And after he had done that, people were winning Comrades with 5:37 and 5:38, winning it. And yet he broke 5.5 and still didn't win.
Instead, Jale and Rakhabele inspired others to dream of glory.
Yeah, umuntu kade simthanda kakhulu ngakithi ubaba uWilliam insizwa nayo ephuma nje khona eBhulo uqama manje nami la ngikhona. So umuntu kade simthanda kakhulu kumbuka nami ke kwangijabulisa ukuthi kunomuntu wasemakhaya futhi nami ngingayenza lento yenzeke.
In 1989, Mtolo and Sam Shabalala dueled for place in Comrades folklore. As Mtolo faded, Shabalala kicked on to go where no black athlete had gone before.
We opened the doors for our black that they can win Comrades.
The man with the greater world power is the one who played out to what we need.
Finished first and second. It was a record, you know.
And what a magnificent performance for Shabalala.
The popular Mtolo would go on to win the New York Marathon. Though he never conquered the Comrades, he became an icon for the race.
Winners of the marathon, 28-year-old William Mtolo.
That was the breakthrough, and after that, then Kalehe and Ingamani and Fuzin Shapo, and, you know, they all started coming.
The very athletes who were excluded from the race initially and were invited back in 1975 now form predominantly the largest group of participants and dominate the top 20, top 50, dominate. So I think it's gone full circle and it's wonderfully embraced.
Around 4 hours, passes the baton to his teammates. Motibi, Dijana head off down the road at express pace.
Like Mtolo and Shabalala before them, Dede Dijana and Edward Motibi have turned this year's Comrades into a two-horse race.
Do you think now we've got our first and second in this race?
I was not scared. I was not panicking.
At the last running in 2019, Edward Motibi took home the winner's medal. This is Dede's first down run. But to be here, he's had many mountains to climb.
I've struggled a lot. I have struggled even in running itself, you know. And wherever you will go to the race, not having the money for the food, by not having a registration fee, you know, or a money for transport. We've been there. So the situations at home, you are the one who can change it.
Udede ukhule enakekela umama ophethwe isifo sekhanda.
You know, at some point, I didn't have food. I didn't have some soup to bath because the money that I have, I wanted to make sure that I'm going to check my mom. Then I'd rather stay younger than so that my mom can be fine. The social workers managed to help me to take her to the home care. Then after everything is settled, then I started to go back to running. And that's how I cope. We've been running with our bare foot, you see, but by not having running shoes doesn't mean that you can't chase your dream.
Udede uphuma eMahikeng eminyakeni eyisithupha edlule bebambe itoho ebusuku engunogada yize esebenza kanzima bewushaya umgwaqo kabili ngosuku.
For me, to run Comrade was never ever in my mind to run it.
He came in a very poor background. But because he saw myself or he saw somebody, he said, one day I want to be like that man.
I said, no, let me go and try it.
Dede only started training for his Comrades debut 8 weeks before the 2019 race.
I knew that I was not ready to go and compete with them. And in my mind, I said, no, I will come and run my own race. I ran 6 hours, 25 minutes. I just took it easy.
Understandably, he finished in 50th position.
When you talk about the rural areas, there's a lot of talent, but they need somebody to go there and dig the talent.
In 2022, he ran a 50-kilometer ultra marathon and came second, beaten only by his hero, Stephen Mukoka. This was a performance that did not go unnoticed. Dede was invited to join the elite Nedbank running team's training camp in the lead-up to the 2022 Comrades.
And you know that this guy, I'm going to compete with these guys. And here am I. I'm not going to train, you know. But if you are mentally weak, you will get intimidated easily.
These two gentlemen are looking very, very comfortable at the moment.
If you go there with a doubt, you already lost the race.
It was me and Motte leading the race.
What will happen is at a certain point, one of them is going to turn to the other one and say, I'm so sorry.
Yes, it's a big hill, the longest one.
Running shoulder to shoulder, having trained shoulder to shoulder, the winner will come from these two.
I'm just going to run my own race. If I die, I die. But I want to keep it 100%.
For the 13,000 running behind the leaders, this is a day for compassion. But a race is a race, and it's always been competitive.
It's hard to make a break, and...
How long do you leave it? How long do you leave it? Are we going to have a close finish?
It could be very close, in 1967.
I think every Comrades win has to involve a great battle.
I think for me, one of the favorite rivalries was the one between Mani Kun, Deur, controlled, quiet Afrikaner, and Tommy Malone with an Irish surname, but he's a Scot, a broad Scot, extrovert, out there guy. And the two of them are famous because of the 67 race.
542 runners started the 1967 Comrades Marathon. Tommy Malone, winner in 1966, had gone into Drummond in a pack of runners. He made a break on the hill coming out with just under half the race to go. It was a bold move.
It's the biggest addiction of all. You think, just let me win this thing and I will be content. And once you won, you say, I've got to do that again. I've got to do that again, because to win, I can't even describe to you.
Malone led for 25 kilometers, but at Westville, the curse of the Comrades began. Cramp. Malone struggled on, with Mani Kun 2 minutes behind, a gap he was unlikely to close. But Malone's condition worsened. The finish at Greyville Racecourse was packed with spectators, urging on their hometown hero, Kun. He had nibbled away at the lead, with just the home straight left. A roar erupted as Kun entered, with Malone just meters from the line.
There was a young lad looking through people's legs, and he actually fell right at my feet. And there's that iconic photograph of Tommy reaching out for the finish line like this, the agony on his face. And Mani Kun flashes past and beats Tommy by 1 second, the closest in Comrades history.
He's one of the few winners never to carry the winner's baton, because he only got in the lead in the last stride. and Tommy still had the baton.
It remains the closest ever finish in the history of the Comrades.
And that just said to me, I have to do this race one day.
The thrill of the 1967 finish would inspire a fresh generation of comrades. But for those at the front, winning it would become the ultimate accolade.
9 kilometers to go, then I decided to make a move.
On the down run, 45th cutting became my friend, where I would make a move to try and break away.
Now it's time to fight each other, because it's only one winner.
People, they end up losing race because they said, no, I must wait. Sometimes you must take chances because life is about chances.
There you are, Dejani. I said I thought he was the stronger of the two. This is 45th cutting, and he is sprinting up that hill. I mean, it's ridiculous.
But I know he can respond it. He's capable of doing that. Remember, we're talking about the defending champion.
Can you believe this? After more than 80 kilometers of running, look at that pace. The youngster on the bicycle struggling to keep up.
We thought he would die, because we didn't know that.
I didn't want to look back. I didn't want to look back and say, no, let him move. And, I was just listening to his footsteps, whether is he responding or what. Then let me push.
When the leader reaches the stadium, he's presented with a baton. Inside is a message from the mayor of the start city to the mayor of the finish city.
That is such a special feeling that when you know you're going to win, there's the crowd cheering you on. There's the feeling I'm going to make it, freeze it forever.
I made it.
There he is, gives it a kiss and salutes.
Every winner raises the baton above their head.
And I kissed it. The crowd, when they were yelling, screaming at me, that crowd. It was unbelievable for me. I didn't believe that it's me winning Comrade, because I went there for top 10, not for winning Comrade.
So running can change a person's life.
A run for the ages from Motte and completes a magnificent win in the 2022 Comrades Marathon.
I was emotional. Again, I was shocked.
Big chapter written in the...
It was like, it is really me winning Comrade. Am I dreaming? What is going on, guys? Come and wake me up.
Completes a magnificent win in the 2022 Comrades Marathon.
Remember that the struggle that I've went through to achieve what I've achieved. This is for my family. I'm doing it for my family. The Burfoot that I've ran with, all those things. That's when I knew that all my struggle have gone. My life is gonna change now.
That his name will be here at Comrades Wall now. So nobody can take that. His name will be there. Even his child, grandchild, whoever come after church, will say, that was my father, So his name will be in the history. It put you on the history.
Now, for the rest of the day, we just watch all the heroes and heroines following him in.
It doesn't matter. Every single runner right through to 5:30 this evening will celebrate with equal measure of joy.
The baton's actually a door knocker, and it's almost as if to say to all the spectators here watching, and to all the millions of people watching on television, yes, I'm first, I'm carrying the baton, but I'm knocking on the door to tell you, just stand by to be absolutely blown away, because behind me are coming the bravest, toughest, most extraordinary human beings you've ever seen. And some of them may be only going through halfway. Some of them are going through Drummond when the leader comes in.
With a regular marathon already under their belts, these extraordinary human beings still have more than a marathon's distance to complete.
How are you feeling?
Easy. And I'm happy I made it to halfway.
For some, the halfway mark is a celebration. For others, it's a grim reminder of how far they still have to go.
I'm halfway, but one thing for sure, I wanted to finish it.
But all day long, you as spectators and everyone watching, you're going to watch the most extraordinary human beings overcoming their human frailty and finishing this great race.
Yeah, it's hectic.
Many are supporting loved ones.
My dad is running his 8th Comrades this year.
We've been living here for 12 years, and so we always enjoy the halfway mark.
I mean, for a South African, you cannot not be on the road today.
Especially as the midday cutoff looms.
I think there's another 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. Right about there.
Good.
Good job. What do you need?
Leli ithuba lokukhumbuza abagijimi iphupho elabaletha lapha.
They are winning because they are defeating all the things that would stop them.
I think fourth place might be just out of reach. 7 minutes behind fourth. So I think she's fighting for 5th place right now, which, you know, it's a solid run. Yeah, I think a podium is going to happen now. I'm going to mix it up again with her drinks for the next aid station. I'll give her a non-alcoholic beer. Might waken her up a bit.
Looked really good early on, and then she kind of went through a lull point for maybe an hour. And I think that's where the gap started developing. So yeah, she fell back a bit, but you know, still a lot of running to go, so yeah. Just keep her calm and honest, and yeah, we'll give her some more fuel here when she comes by. Hey, 6 minutes. Yeah, loop around the lake lane. Don't get that girl in the footage, right? Come on,
Camille! Go get him!
The record books tell us women only began running the Comrades in 1975. Frances Hayward couldn't wait that long, and so she ran and finished in 1923. Mavis Hutchison, the galloping granny, also defied the rules in 1965. When women were finally allowed to compete, Elizabeth Kavanagh was crowned the first winner. Letty van Zyl then helped herself to 3 consecutive titles.
My first Comrades in 77, I don't remember seeing one. I think Letty van Zyl won that year. I don't remember ever seeing Letty anywhere. And there was definitely sort of unintended prejudice against the women because they forgot to mention, like, can the top 10 women also get golds?
Helen Lucre has also won the Comrades 3 times and is one of the female pioneers of the race.
I started running the race in 81, so really it was only the 6th year of women participating. You didn't have women's clothing, so you got a man's vest and you might tie it at the top and you'd yank it up, and the shorts weren't really cut for you, they were cut for a male, but you know, that was how it was. But I remember on my first run, when we'd finished, we went to have a shower, and the shower block that had been reserved for women had been taken over by the men. So a group of us stood outside and said, we've run with the men, we'll shower with them. And we just walked in, much to their amazement, but everyone was a bit tired and weary, they didn't bother.
Some men were not ready to accept that women could keep up with them on this brutal road.
There were a lot of alpha males who got too much testosterone, and there was one in particular, we all loved him dearly, old Graham Fraser, and his comment one day was, the day that he gets beaten by a woman in Comrades is the day he stops running. And it was in the down run against Frith, and he got overtaken by Frith van der Merwe, I don't know, with 7K to go in the down run.
And he thought, well, that's it. I've made this public. Everyone knows I've made the statement, so Frith has just passed me.
And he walked off the course and didn't finish the Comrades. Now, to me, I think that's absolutely tragic.
There was a photograph in the SA Running magazine of Frith continuing her trip down to Durban and Graham running the other direction. This is fantastic. I thought it unbelievable.
So there were all these sort of breaking down egos, breaking down myths, and just kind of getting acceptance.
Frith van der Merwe's stunning run in 1989 showed that even though women had been denied for so long, they could challenge Stone Age perception.
She ran, 5:54 She came 15th overall.
The way she ran, with just these pigtails were bobbing up and down. She was having a ball out there. It was the biggest. She was having fun. My mate Stuart Peacock finished 13th. The crowd's going mad. And I'm only coming 13th. What must it be like to win? He said when he crossed the line, he turned around as he crossed the line. He did one more air punch like this to say, yes, aren't I great? He said, and here came Frith down the finish straight. And he realized the crowd had been cheering for her.
Frith raised that bar so high that we're still trying to climb over some of her records.
So she would be, for me, the greatest female runner this country's ever known and perhaps the world's ever known. Her time has still not been beaten.
She showed, long before what women could do, right? And she gave us a role model even, many years later, right? So honestly, just how fast she was running in comparison to other women at her time.
Frith will never be forgotten. That performance that year was just extraordinary.
The champion in 2022 and suddenly
Every first-time winner begins a journey to greatness. For this winner, 3 previous podiums count for nothing. Today is her first true step to greatness.
And so she is coming to the finish of Comrades. Alexander Morozova is the winner of the women's race here.
For some, even step by step is too much.
Oh my goodness, boring disaster!
Come on, Jenna, you have to get to the finish and no other athletes can help her. The athlete has to go over on their own.
Jenna Jellinor, close to the finish line. What a story, what a picture. That is Comrades Marathon.
For Camille, this journey will continue in races to come.
Camille Herron, former Comrades champion, back from the 2017. This was also her first time to finish the down run.
People ask me, what's the one race that, means the most to me? It's winning Comrades, because that says that you're one of the greatest, for sure.
This most human of races never forgets its champions. But because it is human, there's always been a question of who the greatest comrade really is.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I guess that's a wonderful question.
There's the Arthur Newtons in their era. There's the Jackie Mecklers.
And I just pushed myself and drove myself to get the record.
Probably Johnny Halberstadt, who without a doubt is the greatest single all-round distance runner South Africa's ever had.
I'm more inclined to look at a performer like Shaun Mickeljohn. He's won more silver medals than anyone in the history of Comrades.
And then I just reflect on Wally Hayward.
He ran 9:36 as a 79-year-old.
Now, that was my greatest day of my whole running career.
Nobody will be able to argue with me. Nobody will be able to convince me that Wally Hayward was not the greatest Comrades runner of all time.
The way Alan Robb broke 5 hours 30 in 1978 and won the race by 20 minutes. Alan was pushing barriers that had never been seen at Comrades before.
They're all legends in their own right.
And coming in very strongly, breaking the tape right now. Isn't that incredible?
Can we have a conversation about Comrades without mentioning a certain man called
Bruce Fordyce?
Bruce Fordyce. Bruce Fordyce.
Won it 9 times, and everybody kind of regards him as the king of Comrades.
But the fact of how much else he's given to the event, right? Just his passion for it, right?
This great debate extends beyond gender.
I think there have been a number of inspirational women, not one dominant personality.
Anne Trayson, just her talent was off the charts, and I think that's why she was able to be a champion for so long.
We've had people like Frith van der Merwe running incredible races and incredible times.
I think the Ngalieva sisters were particularly strong and stood out. They dominated. They tossed first and second between themselves for years.
And with Shanae Bosman, and then Gerda Steyn to come through the way she has. And they're all radiant individuals.
Gerda Steyn becomes the first woman to run a Comrades uprun in under 6 hours.
I think it'll remain a debatable barbecue dry flies topic forever, and there will never be a right answer.
For a race this size, the Comrades has an impressive finish rate. On average, 88% of the runners who start finish. For the other 12%, retirement looms along the way. Some voluntarily, some not. The fifth cutoff lies at the 69-kilometer mark, after 9.5 hours of toil.
Well done, you just made the cut.
Yeah. Oh, really tough.
How are you feeling?
It's tough. I'm not feeling anymore. I'm just running on heart only. Yeah, man.
At 3:30 p.m., the gun signals the end of the road. For those on the wrong side, nearly 10 hours of struggle ends in Pinetown. All that is left is time for reflection.
Okay. Thanks. Okay. Big car. No. Big car. Thanks.
So close, man.
That's all.
Just finished. I think you missed it by a minute.
Well, anyway, I've gave it my best.
Line up those things.
I don't want to get out. Guys, we got cut off. It was tough.
Sorry. This is the end of the race for you.
But I'm proud of myself.
How much did you miss it by?
I missed it by 2 minutes.
So close. So close.
But it is what it is. We try again next year.
Even though it's the end for some, many trudge on for a shot at their own personal glory.
It's a tough race, man. Doesn't matter how strong you are, physically. You don't know what your body's capable of, man. On the day.
A male of about the age around 60 to 70, maybe a little bit older, collapsed. We have called Netcare 911
Well, 19 cases to go. Hills are not our friends, my guy. We're almost there. It's a truck and trailer. I'm a tow truck.
I was told they're coming here to run a down run. I haven't seen it so far.
You haven't seen the down portion?
Climbing.
Hey, this dress code is something special. People that lost their lives, people that lost body parts due to breast cancer. There's in memory of them.
Indondo ye-Comrades ihlukile kunamanye. Yenza abantu beyibuyele nyaka ngonyaka.
Everybody says I never want to do it again.
And then what made you go back?
Because it's a drug. It's you go back because Comrades is a drug. It draws you in, and it's cunning because you've. In my case, I've done an up run, but I haven't done a down run.
Befitting a race that has run for over a century, each Comrades medal has its own story to tell.
This is the sort of traditional Comrades finishers medal. So everybody gets one of these beautifully small medals with the year on it. If you come top 10, it is engraved on the back with your position. And then the top 3, you get a gold or a silver or bronze medal.
I know where she really is. She was 2 minutes 46 seconds behind.
So that's the actual larger first place medal from 2014. which showed me that I could achieve something that, you know, maybe 10 years prior I would have thought was absolutely ridiculous. The different medals give something for everyone to work for, right? So it really pushes people to do their best. It's seemingly inconsequential things that drive us as runners, right, and get the best out of us.
A gold medal awaits each of the first 10 men and women. The medals that follow each honor legends who have broken competitive and cultural barriers. Nearly half of the finishers come in during the final hour. Amongst these thousands, the true heart of the race lies. Their reward is an ode to the spiritual father of the Comrades Marathon, the Vic Clapper Medal.
That's what makes Comrades, I feel, quite unique, right? Is that there's these little things that have developed over the years and they might seem inconsequential, but it's quite a whole experience.
That's what makes Comrades so great, because it'll make you try that much harder to come back next year.
Barry Holland sits atop the record books as the most decorated Comrades runner of all time. But his streak of consecutive finishes came under threat in 1995.
I was walking. I realized that I couldn't run. My leg was just so sore, I could not run. I had shin splints that year.
Barry's injury meant his record was in danger of ending on his 22nd consecutive race.
There I came across a friend of mine by the name of Frank Bathingswaite. You know, Frank was having just a little walk. You know, he was running fine, but he was having just a little walk, a recovery walk. And he said to me, "What's going on?" And I told him I had shin splints and that was me. My race was done. I was just going to try and get to Durban. He said, "Now I'm walking with you."
A walk to the finish would cost Frank his personal milestone.
I must have said to him 10 times, "Frank, you must go now." He said to me, "Barry, this is Comrades. This is what we do." And home we walked. And we solved all the problems of the world. We walked and talked, and we walked and we talked. Walked across the line, in fact. Round the stadium, round the grass, walked across the line. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, sorry, sure. But memories like that are what make the camaraderie of Comrades, is what Comrades is all about.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm standing with the legend, your 48th Comrades today.
Yeah, consecutive.
Consecutive, it's fantastic.
At one stage I didn't think I was going to make it. Time was going, we were doing a lot of walking, and I was cramping very badly. Got rid of most of the cramp and got home.
Congratulations, 48 Comrades. This is a legend. This is a legend.
For my kids.
It's about people. It's not really about running for a lot of people, which sounds a bit odd because, of course, you have to do a lot of running to prepare, and on the day you have to run 89 kilometres. But it's what it brings out in people.
It's a new pass. No number plate, no registration. Just a pass. Just a pass.
I'm very jealous of novices. You can only ever be a novice once. I can tell you, I can remember almost every step around the finishing track from my first Comrade.
When you've got 2 or 3 kilometers to go, and you know you're going to make it, and I'm going to tell you, you will be tired.
Everything is unfolding here. It's just a beautiful, an amazing story.
You'll be losing a toenail, you might be getting cramps.
Lily, it is done. We are home. We've done it.
If you remember, freeze the moment.
If you don't cry when you come around the track and finish your first Comrade, you're not human.
Hey guys, The wheelchair comes in.
You can see that elation, Sabo, on her face. She is one happy athlete crossing that line.
Comrades is the only race that I feel like it doesn't matter what time we finish as long as you finish.
When we're about 500 meters to the finish, I check on my guys in the bus and I tell them, wash your face, we're gonna have a grand entrance at that stadium.
It felt to me like an Olympic finish to come into a stadium, to have a crowd sitting there.
And you hit that grass, and we are all in pain. You are not special at Comrades if you are in pain. You are not special if you are crying. You are not special if you are cramping.
And then I was just so thrilled to then go up into the stands and become part of the crowd that was watching these runners pour in.
But you dig deep at that finish line and don't look like your problems. Don't let anyone see how you suffered on the road.
And I was just enjoying watching everyone, the colors, the sizes, the shapes, the groups of people coming in.
On that route, you find yourself. You get to the finish and the euphoria of crossing that finish line.
Comrades is not tough. Comrades is long. It's all in the mind. And whatever you do, you don't stop. You keep going. And I had a wonderful team that supported me today. It was just amazing, and I had amazing passengers.
What a strategy. And I'm here.
And I guess you'll be back next year, back to back.
Definitely. She's going to be here, definitely.
Whether some people do literally still do it in memory of the World War veterans, whether they do it in commemoration of, a family member. I think for most people it's not an exaggeration to say it's a life-changing experience.
One more test remains for those who had believed, given up hope, and then had it rekindled. This is the last desperate push.
And it was getting close to 12 hours now, and people were coming into the stadium, some of them sprinting and full of energy and thrilled that they had something left in their legs and they knew they were going to make it. And then there are the others walking and crawling and staggering and losing sight of their goal.
There is literally just over 3 minutes left.
In my heart of hearts, I've always believed that the last place finisher deserves more plaudits and acclaim than the winner.
We're into the last minute of the Comrades 2022. The countdown is nearing completion. And that is the dreaded cut-off gun in the hands of DC Kobo.
15 seconds.
So it is going to come to an end.
I feel very sorry for those people because they ran the whole day, They've been training almost a year for just to run and finish Comrades. You feel like crying, because sometimes some of them, they've been trying and then they can't finish.
It has all of life's triumphs and disappointments, but ultimately, it's a triumph. And it's not a triumph, even if you fail, it's a triumph. It's a triumph because you lined up and had the courage to say, let me have a crack at this.
For so many, this is one of the greatest triumphs of their lives.
It's a passion for me. It uplifts my spirit. It's an inspiration. Oh, I love it.
I think crossing the finish line on my first Comrades far outweighed the emotions or the experience of ever winning it. And it was just, wow, I've done something that I didn't know I could do before.
Whether it's tears of joy, making your time that you set out to do, or whether it's tears of pain or disappointment that you didn't make it, but wow, it'll certainly it'll certainly get you.
I think it's taught me a lot. I think running has taught me a lot in general.
It's taught me habits, better habits as a person.
It taught me that I can do anything I want to in life, anything, and nothing will stop me if the reason and the cause are good enough.
To run a Comrades, to win a Comrades, it has infinite value because there is nothing else like it.
It encompasses all the emotions and all the feelings that sets up the human form.
Freeze it forever. Because what happens is whenever you feel lonely, depressed, sad, disappointed with yourself, you can go back to that moment and say, I once finished the Comrades.
Story lesi sobumbano. Story lesi esikhombisa ukuhlangana kwabantu, ukuhlukana kwama-culture wabo nemvelaphi yabo, kepha behlangene ngomqondo owodwa namhlanje ukuthi bazogijima leli banga ngani kuyini.
The Comrades limp is a limp of pride, and it doesn't matter whether you did 5.5 hours or you just beat 12 hours. Everybody's brothers and sisters in arms. It's a limp of triumph. It's like you were wounded in battle, but you fought such a great fight. I miss it because I wish I was limping.
In the century since the Comrades Marathon was first run, everything around this incomparable race has changed. And yet, this relentless ritual of hills and thrills, which has taken unknowns and put them into history books, has retained its brutal innocence. For 102 years, remarkable men and women from every walk of life have come here to defy those that dare say certain things are beyond the reach of the human spirit. Year after year, they look within for a reason to run once more on the road they cannot live without. They are bound by the collective belief that whatever goes down will come up. They are comrades for life.